Hi, it's Terry. I have been maintaining 180-pound weight loss with low-carb, low-calorie, meat-focused eating since August of 2022.
Y'all, it's Friday night. I'm not really sure how to do all this, but I got a whole bunch of meat in my sink, and I've got a couple steaks over here too. So tomorrow, we'll be doing some ground beef. Hey, maybe I can pull those out and dump them in the crock pot. Hang on, I got an idea. Okay, that's better. So we're going to have 4 packages of these butt country style ribs. I got 4 just like this. There's 2 here and then one under there and one over there. And we've got, these are 4 ground beef patties. They're 80. These are the, where's this? So they're half pounders. So I'll be cutting those in half to make a quarter pounder. But anyway, so we'll cook those up. So if there's 8, wait, how many? Does it say? Oh, I said 4. Yeah, so if there's 8, that's enough to be, Lord, y'all know me and math, 16. Hey, all right, so 16 of them. And yeah, that'll make 16 if I do just one patty. So I'm just throwing through all that in there so it can defrost tonight. Let's see, we've got a ribeye steak here. Man, if the dogs eat up and get here and get this, I'm going to cry. Let me slide this back just a little further. I don't think Baxter can get up there. And over here, I've got some chuck roast. So we'll crock pot that tomorrow. I got to thinking I probably should have done it in the Instant Pot, but that's all right. It's too late. And then this is a combination. I think there's like 4 that are 93% and 4 that are 85%. So I'm going to crock pot that all together tomorrow. But I got it out so it can all defrost. And then that's what I'll be working on Saturday for the rest of this video. Now let's get these plugged in. I've got the crock pot on low and I got my ground beef in it. And we're going to see how this does. It usually takes my ground beef about 4 hours. I'd like to experiment today. Usually I come in every hour and I use this to chop it up. But I'm wondering if I can just do it all at once and then chop it up at the very end. So I'm not going to chop it up every hour. So we'll come in and chop it up at the very end and just see how she does. I'm just forgetful. Listen, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. So just be nice, be patient with me. So I got that on low. I always add some water, probably about 2 cups of water. And I add it so that way I like to have broth afterwards from it. And that broth can be used in so many ways. So yeah, got you some water in there. And then you can use that broth for whatever else you want to do. Now, let's get over here to this roast we got on this other crock pot. So the reason I do not season my ground beef is because I use that ground beef in a lot of different ways. So by just not seasoning it, then I don't have to worry about changing the flavors or anything or committing that meat to one specific thing. Plus, then I can use that broth for my dogs if I want to. I'm going to go in with some Greek seasoning. This is my roast. We're going to put in some Greek seasoning and a little bit of everything bagel seasoning. I think everything bagel seasoning tastes like Lipton onion soup mix, especially when I mix it with something like sour cream or yogurt. Then we're going to add in some of this real salt. Smoked salt. This is the Chef's Blend smoked salt. We're going to go in seasoned salt. It's Redmond's also. You can use whichever brand you want. It does not have to be Redmond's, that's for sure. And we're going to use some garlic salt. Because I'm here to tell you, as soon as these run out, I'll probably just get good old Walmart garlic salt and onion salt. And here's the onion salt. Okay. Lastly, I'm going to go in with some of this. It's called tomato bouillon with chicken. And so I'm going to put some of this in here. Just kind of give it a roast flavor. I know it's roast, but still, it gives a good flavor. Now, if you're carnivore, You use whatever seasonings or non-seasonings you like. I've used seasonings from the get-go. Even when I was 100% carnivore, I used seasonings the whole time. So I'm okay with seasonings. But if you're not, that's all right. You leave them off. I also want to get one more thing. Just a second. Two more things. I lied. I wanted to get a little bit of liquid smoke. We're just going to put a little bit in there. Just a little. And then, because it's just going in the bottom. And then we're going to do some Worcestershire sauce. I've had some of my people from across the ocean tell me that that's how you pronounce it. Worcestershire. So, I'm excited. There's one lady on TikTok who calls it wash your sister sauce. But it's Worcestershire sauce. So there we go. Now we're going to put our lid on it, put it on low, and we're going to check it in about 7 hours. That may be too long. Let's check it on 6 hours. We'll check it in 6 hours. And then we got to add our water. Sorry, I forgot. Again, I told you it's 5 something in the morning. I ain't thinking clearly yet. There we go. All right. Now, that should be everything I need to do to these 2 crock pots. And I'll see you in 3.5 hours. Or 3 hours. I think I don't remember what I set the timer for. I think 3.5 hours. And then in 6 hours. Yeah, just to verify, I set this one for 3 hours so far. The leaner meats get done faster than the fatty meats. So when I do 73% meat, it takes longer for whatever reason. Y'all are just going to have to ignore the mess. This is real life. I got a lot of meal prep going on. It's been on low for 3 hours. I am going to... it doesn't look like it's done. I'm going to chop it and take a look at it. See what I think here. Definitely not done. So I'm going to go through and chop it up. And I'll get back with y'all when I get it all chopped up. Something I want to say, if you're not familiar with lean meat, it definitely cooks up different than high-fat meat. And I use the lean meat when I was counting calories and was doing the low-carb and keto, when I switched from carnivore to keto, I did 93% ground beef all the time. So that was how I was able to keep my calories down. I'm not a big chicken person. I mean, I know people like it, and it's not bad for me. I just prefer the flavor of beef. So anyway, I just wanted you to know that if you cook ground beef and you change from 73% to 80%, or that looks like a turd. If you go from 73% to 80% or to 93% or even 85%, you're going to notice there's a change in the texture of the meat. So it's more dense, but it's because there's less fat. And so you're definitely not losing as much of the weight of what you put into your crock pot. You're getting most of it back. So, all right, so we're going to let this go for another hour. To get my country pork ribs going, I've got about that much liquid smoke. There's no stopper that comes on liquid smoke, which makes me sad. There is a stopper that comes on my Worcestershire sauce, but I pulled it out, and we're just going to mix them up. Because usually if I have one, I have the other. So we're just going to put them in this little squirty bottle. And this is what we're going to use to season our country pork ribs. So, ta-da! We got a good mixture right there. I have 4 packs of these family style country ribs, and I got them with the yellow sticker. So like this big old thing right here is $5.20. And this one's $6, so they're really inexpensive. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them into a pan. I'll be right back. So this is 2 packs of these country style ribs. Some of them are still partially frozen, but they're going to be cooking for 40 minutes at first time and then 40 minutes with sauce on them. So I'm going to go through with this stuff that I just made up, which is the Worcestershire sauce and liquid smoke. And I'm just going to squirt some of this, drizzle it on there. I forgot, liquid smoke has like little chunks of something in it. So you might find that there's pieces that are blocking it. All right, so we're going to just kind of mix them up here, rub it all over. Mix these up, mix you up, and you up. We're going to do it again. We have 2 more to do, so we don't want to use up all our stuff. All right. So now we're going to go in with some all-purpose Greek seasoning. Again, you can go back to my original video. It's got a link to, I got this recipe off of Old School Soul Food. So you can go to my original recipe, and it's got a link to his recipe whenever he made it. So that's where I got this recipe from, Old School Soul Food. And it was the best country ribs pork I've ever had in my life. And I've made country ribs since I started Carnivore, but these were amazing. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to put a little bit of my favorite. This is called Farm Dust. This stuff, it's salt with some garlic powder and onion powder. Now, the first step is we cook these for 40 minutes. That doesn't feel like I got any on it. We cook these for 40 minutes. But, and then we put barbecue sauce on it. And that's the step. If you're carnivore and if you're clean carnivore and you don't want any barbecue sauce, then that's the step you're going to skip. You don't have to put anything on these. And I guarantee you they're going to be wonderful. And if you don't want to add the liquid smoke or you don't want to add the Worcestershire sauce, I bet you they'll taste just as amazing. So we're going to move over here where we're going to move these onto a grate. Okay, if I didn't say already, the oven is preheated to 375. I'm going to go ahead and line all these up. According to Old School Soul Food, his name is Jeff, and he is my newfound hero. He said you put it on this grate. And he did these because he was looking for a way to have a barbecue style, a grill flavored pork ribs in the winter. And so he did this. Now, he did not cram his together quite as much as I'm doing it, but that's all right. You know me. I march to the beat of my own drummer. That's what my school teacher told my mama. My mom said, Mrs. Weiss, should we get her tested? She seems like she has some issues. And my teacher said, no. Terri just kind of marches to the beat of her own drummer. So, there you go. So, I'm cramming them all on there. I probably shouldn't. But it's set at 375. I got 2 more packs I'm going to get together. And I'll do the same thing on here. And then we'll put them in the oven. So, I'll be back. That is how the burger ground beef is looking. You can see it's still pink. But it's not like... There's a difference in the texture whenever it's done pink. Like medium pink versus not done pink. When you pull it up, you'll see it, and it's still like that gummy texture. But this is still indefinite. This is now indefinite shapes of that, of the little, I don't know, spaghetti shape. So now this is what I'm gonna do. You can judge me for it or whatever. I am gonna strain this ground beef, and I do that so I can pull then the liquid out. And that it makes an amazing, amazing broth. I should have used I wonder if I got a bigger thing. Probably so. But anyway, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to get all this out of here. And then I'll be back with you. And in the end, we're going to let this cool. So actually, I'll pull this out. And then I'm going to let it cool. And then I'll come back and we'll get this bagged up. Because we're going to use Ziploc bags today. So we need this to be all the way cooled down. And I'll show you how I'm going to cool it down in just a minute. Let me get it all in here. I'm pretty sure my oven's at 375. I don't remember if I heard a beep or not. So we're going to go ahead and put these in and get these going. Because they have to cook for 40 minutes. 40. And I'll see you in 40 minutes. All right, I'm going to show you how I'm going to cool this off. Now, this is unconventional and it's all right. When I was a kid, my dad had a heart attack. And so my mom, it was the 80s, and they had to get rid of as much fat as possible. So after she cooked her ground beef, she rinsed it off with cold water. Now, I'm not doing this to get rid of fat. We've already got strained out the fat. What I am doing it for is to cool it down. So, I'm going to spray it down a little bit with water. Don't judge me. It's all right. Well, you can judge me. I don't mind. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm going to do that to cool it down a little bit more. And then when it's all cooled down, we're going to put it, because we're going to do it in Ziploc bags. Listen to me, y'all. Really, listen to me. I know so many of you people have wonderful respect for your body, and you don't use plastic. You don't use plastic liners. You don't use plastic bags. You don't even use plastic containers. And I think that is amazing. And I'm really proud of you. I really am. Because the way I live my life, I do use plastic. So I use plastic Ziplocs. I use plastic containers. So I just want to give you a heads up on meal prep day. My dishwasher, it's running now already. And it's only 9:15, so my dishwasher's already running once. So on meal prep day, I run my dishwasher 2 to 3 times. So by using the plastic liners, it really helps cut down on the cleaning for me, because I'm usually standing on Saturday from 6 o'clock in the morning till about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. And I love it. Trust me, I am not complaining. I love it. It is my favorite way of my coping mechanism. However, I use plastic liners and I use plastic bags and stuff, so don't let it disturb you. It's just what works for me. And I'm really proud of those of you who avoid the plastic stuff, because I think that's pretty cool. I just don't in my life. So, all right, well, I will get back with you whenever this cools down and we're ready to bag this ground beef up. I want to use this container, so I went ahead and put the leftover liquid that was from the ground beef. Look how little fat there is in that. So whenever I do 73%, it's more like that. So there's that much fat there, and about the finger's width same over on this one. There's like too much to put into one, because when you freeze it, it expands. So now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to just put this in the refrigerator and let it cool, and when it's done cooling, I'll pull the fat off, because we can use that for something else later. So anyway, I'm going to put these in the refrigerator and put the lids on them and just let them cool until that hardens. So now what we're going to do is we're going to weigh out my portions. Leah and Lori sent me these. They are little Ziploc holders. And you put your little Ziploc bag in this little grip. And then it allows you to put what you want into the Ziploc bag. So this time I'm going to go with how much ground beef? I'm going to do 8 ounces. Oh, let me put it on ounces. There's 5. I said 8 ounces. It's 5.6, 8.2. So we're going to go with 8 ounces in each serving. So I zeroed it out, and there we go. So again, we're going for 8 ounces. And when I'm all done with these, I will zip them up, and I'm going to store these in my freezer. So that way they will be ready and available, and I will pull them out for meal days whenever I want to take one to work. And then I can season it up when I'm ready. But again, this is not seasoned, and that's just how I like to do it. So I'm going to keep on going till I get all the ground beef in here, and I'll show you how many I have when we're done. Okay, we ended up with 9. Actually, we ended up with 8.5. So now I'm going to get all these closed up here. You just slide it down the edge. And then you just kind of fold it up and zip it up. So when I'm all done with them, I'm going to get them all to lay flat. And I'll show you that when I'm all done. Now I've got them all closed up, so I'm just kind of mushing them out so they can lay kind of flat on each other. I'll keep the partial separate. I won't put that in the freezer. That way I can use it and know that it's a partial. So we got 8.5 servings out of the ground beef that we cooked. So now we can put these in the freezer, and they'll just stack up. And these 8 servings like this takes up the equivalent of about 3 servings in my container. So these are awesome. I just love that you guys taught me that. So I'm going to put these in the freezer, and then I'll show you how we're going to store those. These cool little Ziploc stands, they fold down so that way you don't break the arm, or so you can move the arms and store them very easily. So I'm just going to put them, I have this, don't judge me. This is like a really good size box. I've used this. I have not had cats in about, I think about 2 years. And, but I used to buy them this specific cat food, wet cat food. And this box has been with me for a long time. I use it for so many random things. It's just a really good size box. So now all these can store, and it won't break all the little pegs. It won't break any of the pegs. They'll just store sitting up. So that's how I do my ground beef this week. Okay, listen, you do not have to do what I'm about to do. If you are a clean carnivore, then you don't have to do any of this. You can just add add whatever seasonings you are allowed. I'm using the G Hughes General So, his sugar-free General So. I'm just kind of using up some things that I have that I'm ready to empty out. This one, I'll tell you what it is in just a second. This one is Maple Brown, G Hughes Maple Brown. Then I'm going to open this one. I love this one. Give me just a second to get it open. This is Pineapple Ginger Marinade. So I'm going to put some of this in there. And then just a little more regular barbecue sauce. This one's Mesquite barbecue sauce. Alright. So I wanted to just kind of give me a fun mixture of flavors today. So now we're gonna pull the pork ribs out, and we'll move over there. Alright. Y'all know I can never do anything the same way twice. I mean, for real. I don't even remember if I turned them or not, but I'm going to brush this barbecue sauce on them. Might even need more than this. I might not have enough, considering this is 4 packs, 4 family size packs. I have a feeling this was not enough. Hey, something I think is funny about the pork country ribs is that when you buy them, you will get one package that will have absolutely no bones in it, and then you get another package that has like a big, huge lot of bones. Country pork ribs are it's the pork butt. So, yeah, I'm just going to do this because I definitely did not make enough. So what I made, we're going to double it and do it for the other one here in just a minute. So we're just going to brush this all on, and then I'm going to push pause, and I'm going to do the others. I can't remember if I flipped them or not. I might need to go back and watch my video. And anyway, I'm not going to flip them. But I think I did. I think I flipped them. So hang on. We're going to do this again. So this one, it's just a little bit different. But it's the same. It's still the G Hughes stuff. So I know some of y'all had told me last time you like Baby Ray's. I was going to get some, but then I laughed because I looked at my hoard, and I have about 4 or 5 more different barbecue sauces from G Hughes. So, yeah, I opted not to buy any yet. Let me run out of those first, and then I'll get some more. I just splashed that right up on my refrigerator. Last time I did these, they looked more done, and I'm 99.9% sure it's because they had more space between them. You know, these are pretty cramped up. So I'm actually going to, last time I did them for 40 minutes and 40 minutes. So I'm going to do these an hour this time, just so that way I can make sure they get all the way done. So that's how I'm doing this side, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, or these others, and I'll be right back. And now we want to make a tint of foil that goes over it. tuck that around. And I'm going to get this other one. Okay, now I'm going to rotate the shelves for what this was on the top. I'm going to put these on the bottom this go around. And I'll put this one on the top. Don't forget, don't let your dogs, if you're using sugar-free barbecue sauce, don't let your dogs have any of it because it's poisonous. And if you're clean carnivore, I know, you're already saying, yeah, we don't eat it either because it's poisonous to us too. Anyway, so we're going to let that go for an hour and I'll be back. Let's take a look at our roast and see what we think. I don't really know how you know how when a meat roast is done, but I know I've had them where they're super tough and chewy, but let's just cut into it and see what happens. Sure looks good, but I think you're supposed to cook roast a lot longer. Like you're supposed to cook it like 8-9 hours, so then it kind of, like I think that's why roasts are so cheap, because you can cook it, and people used to cook it, put it in the oven and go to church and then have it for Sunday dinner. So I'm going to cut this up just a little bit, let it cook a little bit better, let all of it get more access to all the seasonings and the flavors that we put in here. So there we go. I don't even know how long it's been. I know I set the timer for 6 hours. Let's see. Ziggy, how much time is on the timer?
You have 2 timers. Oven with about 56 minutes left and roast with about 1 hour and 20 minutes left.
So 1 hour and 20 minutes left, and I set it for 6 hours. So I think I set it for 6 hours. I don't know. Editing, Terri, put in your whatever time I set it for. So there we go. So we're going to let that just keep on going. Next up, I've got good old Bertha out here, and we're going to put some tallow in just to kind of melt that down, and we're going to get our breakfast burgers going. So when this has melted, I'll be back with you. So these are for my breakfast, and they're a ½ pound. So when I portion them up, I will portion them into half of a burger, so that way it's a ¼ pound, which is what I usually have. Let's see how many we can get in here. Maybe I can do 4. That would be wonderful. Let me see. Oh yeah, buddy. There we go. I don't usually season my burgers, but I'm going to. I've got some garlic salt. Hang on. There we go. And then some onion salt. Alright. So now we're going to let these go. Where's my lid? I'm going to cover them. I'll do 3 minutes and then I'll be back. Okay, it's been 3 minutes, so let's flip them. Usually I do my breakfast burgers. I buy the frozen kind, and I do them in the oven. But since I got so much going on, I'm just going to go on and do them in here because I want to make steaks in a little bit next. So I'm going to go ahead and cover them again because they don't look like they're done at all on the inside. So I'm going to cover them, and I'll see you in 3 more minutes. Let's take a look. I kind of want to cut into one just to see how done or not done they are. Let me see here. Ooh, those are like rare, definite rare. So we're going to let them go for 2 more minutes, and then we'll check another one. Since I got to cut them in half, it's a good way to check them. All right, we'll try it in 2 more minutes. All right, it's been 2 more minutes. Well, in 13 seconds, it will be 2 more minutes. Let's cut into another one and see what we think. Absolutely not done at all. Man, these must be so dense, like densely packed. I don't know. And even where I cut it before, it isn't done. All right, we're going to go another. This time we'll do 3 minutes. 3 more minutes. I hope somebody's keeping track of the time let's see, I did 3 minutes, and then 3 minutes, and then 2 minutes, and now 3. So that's 11 minutes. So when this beeps, we'll have 11 minutes. Okay, let's cut into one more. See how this one looks. You may not have been able to see the other ones. That's better. That's just pink. I don't mind it pink. I just don't want it raw. When I was a kid, I used to eat raw ground beef. But I think ground beef was a lot different when we were kids than what it is now. You know what I mean? I could be lying and full of hockey business, but I think the cows were raised differently, and you know, I just think it was all different back then. So anyway, I'm going to cut this one in half too, because that's how I'm going to have them. I'm going to take 1/2 of a burger with me for breakfast. And that's done enough. I'm done with them. I'll microwave them in the mornings. So, alright, I'm going to do these other 4 patties. And like I said, how long did I do it? I'm going to do 6 minutes on one side and 6 minutes on the other. Then that way I'll know that it'll be done just good enough. And I'll season them the same as I did the other 4. So when I'm all done, I'll come back because we are going to cook us up some steaks I'll have one for lunch and maybe one for supper today or tomorrow. I'm not really sure when. But I'm going to get these done and I'll be back with you. Let me show you what I'm doing for context. These were the burgers that I will be taking with me to work for breakfast. And it is 1/4 pound of meat. So 4 ounces. So I am putting these in these snack size Ziploc bags. And then I will freeze them. And then that way, you know, whenever I want to have, you know, when I pull these out for breakfast, it's going to automatically be in the right portion sizes for what my macros are for my breakfast. Now, if your macros are higher, you can totally do more than what I'm doing. And if you're not counting macros, then by all means, put the whole 1/2 pound burger in your thing. And that's all right too. So anyway, so I'm going to Ziploc these up. And when these are done, I'll let them cool off and I'll show you all of it when it's done. So while those burgers are cooling down, we're going to get us a couple steaks going. We're just going to use the rendered fat from those burgers to cook our steaks in. We're going to see how this goes. I'm not sure why those burgers took so long. It shouldn't be any different than a steak. And, but yeah, they took 11, well, actually the second set took longer than the first set. I did 6 minutes, 6 minutes, and then 2 more minutes. This is some seasoning salt, a little bit of onion salt, and some garlic salt. I'm going to put a little bit of this tomato bouillon. I really have got to put this in a shaker. I love this stuff. Alright, so now I'm going to cover this for about 4 minutes and then we'll uncover it. It's definitely not going to have it's not going to have that pan seared thing, but that's alright. It's still going to taste doggone good. So I'll see you in 4 minutes. Alrighty. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. Whoa, hang on now. Yeah. Alright. Now I'm gonna leave the lid off. And I'm gonna season this side and I'll leave it uncovered for 4 minutes. I lied. I'm gonna do 3 minutes and then we'll take a look. So these are the burgers. They're in these little bitty snack size bags. For those 8 burgers, they were $16. So I got 16 breakfasts for the amount of meat that I eat for breakfast at $1. So a 1/4 pound for $1. You can't go into McDonald's and get a 1/4 pounder for $1. So that's what I got here. And this is what I've got. And these are going to be my breakfast. Now I'll put them in my Ziploc bag, my big Ziploc bag, and toss them in the freezer, and I'll pull them out. A couple days ahead of time, I'll pull them out and put them in my refrigerator to defrost before I eat them. But there you go. That's my breakfast. So I ended up doing these for 4 minutes. So 4 minutes covered and 4 minutes uncovered. Again, I know that they're not pan seared, but that's all right. They're still going to taste good. Yeah. I'm just going to set them here and let them rest. And then I'll cut into them after they have rested for about, I'll do 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to let those rest, and then we'll cut into them, look at them. Listen, this goodness right here, we're going to pour this onto our roast over here. So hang on. All right. I'm not left-handed, but I'll try this. There we go. Look at that. I did it. Ta-da. Yeah, I just think that'll be good in there. Because when it's all done, I'm going to separate it, and I'll separate the fat from the juice, and I will use that as a broth, and I'll label it no dog. So that broth, this broth from this, is going to be used in stuff like rutabaga soup. So anyway, so that's going to be real good. But I'm going to let that go for a little while. This back here, this is my tallow that I've had in my refrigerator for a while. And it's all lumped up, and I want it nice and smooth. Don't ask, y'all. Sometimes I get a little weird. It says nothing to do with this video, but I'm just putting it in this water bath in this crock pot to let it melt down. So, all right, well, this right here as soon as the pork things are done, we'll see. I don't know how much longer that has, but when this will be done in a little while, probably a few hours, and then the pork country ribs will be done, and we'll take a look at those when they're all done. All right, let's cut into one of these, see what we think, because this is going to be my lunch here. Ooh, that's good. It's more like medium, medium well, which is perfectly fine. Well, there is some pink to it. I'll zoom in. Let me hold still so editing Terri can zoom in. So there's that one. Let's go on and cut into this here one. This one looks a little more pink. That looks good. Not like just a little over medium. Kind of like how I like my eggs, over medium. So there we go. That's how the steaks look. And I'm going to be having one of these for lunch, and I'll put one of them in a thing to eat later. Timer just went off for these. Let's take a look. Ow. I want to cut into one and see if they're done before I just let them cool all the way. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Zoom in on that, editing Terri. Look at that. That looks so good. Now, if I were to eat these right now, I would brush a little more barbecue sauce on them and eat them. But I got something else I'm eating for lunch. But anyway, So now I'm going to let these cool, and then we'll put them in, portion them up for my meals. But they're going to take a long time to cool down, so we're just going to let them sit here and cool out. And like I said, I'm not going to brush barbecue sauce on them. When I take them to work with me, I will go on and add a little bit of barbecue sauce to them then. Whew. One of these has a little baby one. Ooh, there it is. There it is. We're going to set this on the side and let it cool, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I'm eating the steak, and it's awesome. I'm eating these. I had 2 little pieces of the country pork ribs. So, listen, don't judge what you see behind me. It's a mess around here. I have to go without barbecue sauce. I know I put some on before, but that stuff's good. That Jeffrey knows what the heck he's doing. The steak's good, so alright, I'll come back whenever that's done cooling and we'll get those portioned out. Okay, the roast is done. Let me pull this off. And now we're going to go fishing and pull out all the pieces. I'm just going to put them in this bowl. So I might have to use a different scooper outer. I'm not sure. I'll have to see if I have any issues. But anyway, so I'll get back to you as soon as I got all the meat put into this container. Alright, I'm going to let both of these cool down. I think you're at a funny angle. I don't know. But anyway, I want you to be able to see them both. So that's going to cool down so that way we can portion it out in plastic bags. This needs to cool down so I can pour it into a container so then it can cool off. So yeah, so these are going to sit here, and in the meantime our pork country pork ribs are done, so let's go over here now. All right, let's see about getting us. Last time it was 2 of these. That was a serving. So let's see about what 2 of these weigh. 7.8, that works. I think I try to do about 7 ounces of like fatty meat. So 4. Yeah, that was 9. I'm gonna have to get out some. I'm gonna have to get out a knife, y'all. Hang on. Let me see if that worked. All right, 8.2. Anyway, so they're not all gonna be the same, but I'm gonna basically do 2 of these pork ribs in a serving. Gosh dog. I'll try to do a big one and a small one. Let's see how that works. Yeah, that's better. That's a big one. And a small one. Alright, so I'm going to keep going. And when I get this one and the other one done, I'll be back with you. I'll show you how when you're done with it, you just slide it right off. And you squeeze the air out. And there you go. Slide it off. Squeeze out the air, and there you go. These are just going to take up so much less room than my containers. I am so stinking excited about this method. So, alright, I still got the other one to go, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So those 4 containers have 15 meals. I kind of think weren't they like $8 or $10 a piece? No, they were 5 something a piece. So even if they're 6 times 4 is 24. And how many did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Ziggy, 24 divided by 15.
24 divided by 15 is 1.6.
So this right here is not even $2. Now, add your, but when you add your sauce, whatever barbecue sauce you use, that ups it. But not even $2 for this right here. My goodness. So look at us. We are bargain shopping with those yellow stickers. All right, I'm going to get these, put in the freezer. Now listen, if you use plastic containers, you poured that juice over them. And so then whenever I microwaved them and heated them up, then that juice was down in there too. But I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that in just a minute. Now I'm going to very carefully pour the leftover liquid from the pork country ribs into at least one of these, maybe 2. And then I'll tell you why in just a second. But this is going to take some serious thinking. And I'm sure I'll spill it, but that's just, I don't know how else to do it. So, well, there's one. too. All right, now let me get this off here so it doesn't get on my pan and make my pan dirty. All right, I got all of it cleaned up. So I'm gonna put a lid on each of these, and it's gonna say juice for pork butt. So now these can go in my freezer, and they can just, I've got a real big old pork butt in my freezer, so whenever I decide to crock pot, I can pull these out and use them for that. So I'm gonna go pop these in the freezer, and then we'll work on this. This is the pot roast broth that we just got, and I'm gonna let this cool before I dump it out. I'd like to get the fat off of it. I know I didn't with the other, but actually I think I'm gonna pull those out of the freezer and put them in the refrigerator. I wanna get that fat cap off of them. There's already fat in what I'm cooking. I don't need more fat to add to it. So, look what I just found. Some pork country ribs. I thought I had them all in the freezer. That's funny. So I guess I had 16. Anyway, I'm going to let this fat cap cool, and then I'm going to pull it off, and then I'll put it into portions. Or then I'll put it in a container that I can stick in the freezer for the next time I make a roast, because all of those flavorings, you can just recycle them, man. All right, let's get these portioned up. 5, 8. All right, I'm good with that. Somewhere between 7 and 8. That's 6 something. 8.5. I'm going to pull out a little bit of that excess fat that I felt. 8.8. Listen, I know a lot of y'all are going to be, just why don't you add that fat back in there? And I totally understand. That's 7.7. It's just not what's working for me right now. So, whenever I was carnivore, I was adding in all kinds of fat. You can go back and see, but it's also, I was stalling at that stage too. So for me, and for my journey, I don't really want all that excess fat in my life. So, like I said, you definitely can do, all of this is what's going to work best for you. So if it works for me but it doesn't for you, then that's all right. If it works for you and it doesn't for me, and that's okay too. We all got to kind of do our own thing. So, so there we go. And I'll slide these off just like I did the others. And let's see, how many did I get? 1, 2, 3. I got 5. I don't even know how much the pot roast was. Chuck roast, whatever it's called. I don't even know how much it was. Hopefully editing Terri might have seen the dollar amount. And if so, I'll put it on there. But yeah. So that's how I'm doing my meat portion. And how when I was carnivore, that's what I would do. Only minus the G-Hues. So I did all kinds of sauces, but just no G-Hues. So depending on if you're clean or dirty, that's what I did. So, all right, you guys. Have a good day.